Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what? We need this chill vibe on a chaotic Monday, don't we?
Craving ocean spray all of a sudden.
I'm craving a longboard and just not a care in the world. Actually, no, the longboard would be not good for me. Be right on my butt. I don't have it anymore, man. I was never a skateboarder type anyway. Is that your vibe?
I was never good at that. I can't water ski. I can't. I'm decent snowboarding. I can handle that, but I can't ski because I couldn't.
I can ski because I was forced to because I married
I'm admitting publicly that I'm physically not gifted at all. I'm not athletic. I'm not handsome. I
don't look the part.
I'm not what some would call intelligent. I
turned into Bennett Brower suddenly.
Sharing all my weaknesses here.
No, look.
Getting vulnerable today here on JJ and Alex.
Nah, it's therapeutic. It really is.
I'm kind of a piece of crap.
Get that drop.
Really not a good human being at all.
Oh my gosh. All right, so Napolis, you strike me as a big time skateboarder. No, okay.
Why is that? Is there some stereotype or something?
No, I was joking.
No, I think you on Napolis an explanation
because he's got longer hair.
Why did you assume he's into skating?
He has that Vans tattoo on his forehead. I thought that was weird.
Vans.
I thought for sure. I think Ben Anderson's the only skateboarder on staff. He's the only one we could peg as a skateboarder. The rest of us are all just goofy former athletes. It's fine. Yeah, I can ski. Look, well, part of it is because I married my wife was a ski instructor at Deer Valley for a long time, so she's a great golfer. She's actually a certified.
What does she not do?
Yeah, no, she's a really good tennis player in high school. She was the captain of the drill team. I married an athlete, but she kind of went more the route of. But she's a really good skier. That's the thing, and I had to be. For a fat dude, that's hard to be like, why don't you put on these skis and figure it out when you're mid-20s? You know what I mean?
Put something on your feet and lose complete control of the lower half of your body.
You're fat.
At
Try
high
this on.
Speeds.
Yeah. Most of my weight loss has been motivated by the fact that I know I have to ski every year at least once. So, but the expectations are pretty low now. I'm just like, I hit those easy blues now and just, it's fine. Ski with the kids. It's not a big deal. Let me see here. Let's kick off the hour. We got lots to talk about. By the way, we never spoke about the BYU and UCF game. There was just so much other stuff going on.
Why would we?
Floating around. We've got. I've got an update.
There's a lot more stuff coming out.
I know. I've got a tweet that we're going to read from Pete Thamel here. Of course, the rumors that have been swirling around have all involved Kalani Sitake and the possibility of him taking this Penn State job. Obviously, that is a question mark that Penn State wants an answer to, immediately. They don't care that your team is on the verge of doing something special. Because if BYU goes to the Big 12 Championship game and wins it, then what? Then you punt that even further down the line. You go, got a quarterfinal game, because I think they'd probably get that. No, they'd probably be the 5th seed, right?
I don't
think
or 6th seed? Penn State's going to wait.
That's what I'm saying. And that was the – well, let's kick it off here because let's play the cut. Let's get into it because I want to officially read you this tweet that Pete Thamel sent out, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, jump in right here, top of the hour. It's the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, so here's what it looks like. By the way, this portion of the show brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. For all your trusted local needs in retirement, it's TrajanWealth.com. Pete Thamel, ESPN, reporting two different things. We've seen a couple different tweets that have been floating around from different folks who are talking about this Kalani and Penn State deal. Well, the possibility of Penn State at least looking into it. Last hour we talked about the the tweet that Brett McMurphy sent out from On3 that said this is their focus is on Kalani Sitake, top of the list for Penn State, which is a big deal. According to Pete Thamel, sources say that Kalani Sitake is the focus of Penn State's head coaching search. No deal has been signed as the sides continue discussions. The sides have met. There is mutual interest. These sides have discussed staffing and other details of what Sitake's tenure in State College would look like. Sitake has stressed this week his focus is on the Big 12 title game. There's still steps that need to happen before a deal comes together. That sounds like it's gotten way further down the road than we thought, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're talking about, you think Kalani's not focused necessarily. I mean, it's not about not focused because he told Penn State, hey, man, I'm focused on Big 12 championship this week. Well, if they win this Big 12 championship, and then what happens? Then he's like, well, I'm focused on the quarterfinals. Well, I'm focused on the
he's
focused on the semifinals.
First-round college football playoff game in a week and a half.
And if they've got to host it at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, if they're like a 5 or 6 seed, which they would be, I think if they win the Big 12 championship, they're going to be probably up into that. There'll be a one-loss team. They would lead.
How many spots would they move up if they beat Texas Tech?
Well, Oklahoma State's not playing in an SEC championship game. Or it's not. Oklahoma's not playing in an SEC championship game. Notre Dame's not playing in any championship game. Who else is right there? Alabama's not. Alabama's probably going to lose the SEC championship game. I bet they go up to 7 or 6. And so if that's the case,
they'd be hosting
a game on December 19th or December 20th at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. So then that's awkward. You're back at home hosting a game where everybody's looking at you going, are you even here, man? You know what I mean? At that point, you probably have to make the transition. Tell me if this is what it would sound like. You have to make the transition to, I've accepted the job and I want to make sure and finish the job here. Kalani Sitake is going to be your next head coach, but they're going to allow him to finish coaching. The thing is, if you're Penn State, you don't want him, or if you're BYU, you don't want him coaching because it's the same reason that Ole Miss doesn't want Lane Kiffin coaching, which is
it's not in the same conference.
No, but
you don't think he's going to try to take most, if not all, the staff? You don't think he's not going to try to take his star players with him?
Well, and you already saw the tweet said that they were talking about staff. They were already talking about what the staff would look like.
Of course they would. That's an important part of the negotiations.
Well, and on top
you got
of
to pay
that,
for those guys,
right? And so they start talking about what a number looks like. So if you think Kalani might have his head in different places and that he and his wife and family have a difficult conversation to have over the next couple of weeks, add into it that there are probably a handful of other folks, at least, that are on that staff that are also probably having that discussion with their family members.
Right.
And so then you think to yourself, how are they going to do that? How are they going to play in this Big 12 championship game?
Because it's going to take everything they've got to beat that team. That Texas Tech team is a juggernaut.
Right, and they could not afford even the slightest of distractions. And
who would have thought that the distraction would be your head coach?
I mean,
and
honestly,
his conversations with Penn State.
In a million years, Penn State calling Kalani Sitake would have never been something that I would have ever thought. Which is what's wild because these institutions, they sniff out a coach and there's a vibe and they see what their fan base kind of reacts to and they hear that. Wow, what do you think about this guy? Beyond reproach, like he's never going to be investigated for anything, right? Like he's never going to get looked at and go, man, this guy, we are going to question his, his background, his family life, blah, blah, blah. None of that. He'll always win that battle. So that's part of the thing that Penn State does. But again, they just fired a guy who was the same way, who was, for all intents and purposes, the coolest cat. Players loved him. They'll do anything for him, and he was winning. And so, if I'm Kalani Sitake and I see the way that James Franklin went out, just assume that's the way you're going to go out. That you go to a national championship semifinal, and that still isn't good enough, even 8 months in after that same season. And Penn State has not been. Look, we talked about this. Penn State has won how many national championships? Maybe a few.
Penn State, not since the 80s.
86.
Right.
Is when they won it. The way that Penn State gets talked about as a brand, you would have thought they won 10 since 1986. That's 40 freaking years ago. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this this game on Saturday morning. UCF comes in. It was 14-0 before you could blink. And then BYU goes on a 41-7 tear, and they end up winning that thing 41-21. More importantly, how about Bear Bachmeier's performance? It may have been one of his best ones of the year. Now, interestingly enough, we predicted before the game during College Football Saturday, we were having this discussion. I was like, yeah, I think you're going to see a triple-digit, rushing performance by Bear and a triple-digit rushing performance by L.J. Martin. Now, L.J. was only 5 yards short, and that I felt like it was a pretty safe bet with that. But I just felt like Bear was going to kind of get loose on a team like UCF, who is way better at defending the pass than they are the run. They're the second-best passing defense in the entire conference on the season. And he goes 21 for 25. And I counted 2 bad drops, by the way. A bad drop by Carson Ryan and a bad drop by JoJo Phillips.
And he did this without Chase Roberts.
No Chase Roberts. He was delivering the ball, and, Parker Kingston had a big day when he needed to. But more importantly, Bear went 21 for 25 for 289 yards, the touchdown. And LJ added 3 more on the ground himself. I thought that was an awesome day for him. I was glad to see him get in the end zone as much as he did. And BYU runs away with this thing 41-21, and it feels like that it just still is not going to be enough for the committee to look at this team and take them seriously.
It's not. This game's not going to change their opinions. I think that they were kind of capped where they were. They got to go and beat Texas Tech. And that's a tall order. But if you want to prove you're a college football playoff team, go beat a college football playoff team. Go do it this week. Prove to everybody that what happened down in Lubbock was a fluke. That's not who you are. That's not what you are as a team. And despite all these distractions that are coming from this Kalani-Sitake-Penn State situation, you as players have a chance to do something special. How many college football players have a chance to go to the college football playoff? How many college football players have a chance to win a conference championship? How many players at BYU have had a chance to do something like this? It's been a long time since BYU players have had a chance to win a conference championship. Not since the old Mountain West days. BYU has a chance to do that on Saturday. And they have the benefit of already playing this team once before. They're relatively healthy, right? Is Chase back? Is Chase Roberts back for Saturday?
I think that's going to be the case. I think that the vibe was.
I imagine that's why he was held out against UCF.
The vibe
to make
was
sure
that he actually could have played against UCF if he had to, and they decided. And Kalani said it after the game too. He's like, "Look, we made the right decision in making sure that Chase didn't play," which made it sound like they could have had him play, and it's the right choice.
You're healthier now than you were the first time you played them. Go prove that you belong. If they get waxed again, then do they have a case?
No.
Okay, then.
And it's not that they wouldn't necessarily have the same.
Everyone can stop whining and complaining about the college football playoff committee. Blah, blah, blah. Of course they want to keep BYU out. Yeah. But they can't keep you out if you handle your business.
Right. It's a weird discussion to have, too, because in the postgame, everybody's wanting to know, like, hey, Kalani, do you think you guys should be there in the Big 12 even if you lose this? And, we were asking a guy to basically say, yeah, if we lose the game against Texas Tech, and he doesn't want to talk like that. He wants to talk like, hey,
I want to go win this game.
I would prefer to just go in and win it, and then we don't have to have this discussion on whether or not we could be good enough to be there. And
go knock the door down.
We'll see what happens. I mean, look, crazier things have happened. This is not, by the way, last year, Iowa State and Arizona State, you got the vibe that Iowa State had no business being in that game from the get-go. And they lost it by, what was the score last year? Isn't it 40-something to 10 or whatever it was?
We're acting like BYU's playing the 2019 LSU Tigers on Saturday. That's not the case. Arizona State beat Texas Tech. I get it. They're really good. They're a juggernaut. But Arizona State found a way.
Yeah.
I know Baron Morton didn't play in that game. So what? Go win this game. If you believe you belong, you believe you're one of the best teams in the country, shouldn't you go win this game?
Yeah.
At least make it close.
45-19, by the way, was the final down in Arlington last year. And I would say the conference can't afford to have another blowout in their conference championship game.
No. I
say they can't afford it. It just doesn't look good. And for Brett Yormark, who today during that press conference, talked about how top to bottom we're the toughest league, top to bottom. We have the most. We're the deepest league. Well, if you have a conference championship game that somebody wins 45-19 the year before, then it looks like you have like one really, really good team and the rest are kind of
Exactly.
right? And so you don't want to be that team. You don't want to be those guys. So ASU last year blows out Iowa State and wins that thing. And by the way, do you remember what the Sun Devils were ranked going into that game?
I don't.
College football playoff ranking, they were 11-2, or they were 10-2 going into that game. They were number 15 in the college football playoff. And Iowa State was 16. The thing is that they made this insane jump, right? And then they end up being, because Boise State was ranked higher than they were, Boise State ended up being that 4 seed. And everybody afterward went, well, okay, we're not doing this, right? But still, what I'm saying is it was a 10-2 Big 12 team that was the highest ranked Big 12 team after that conference championship. And they go up to 13 after that week, and then they get put into that spot as what were they? Were they the 12th seeded team in the whole thing too? 11th or 12th?
Who? Arizona State?
Arizona State, they were 12th.
No, because
right?
remember the conference champions got automatic buys.
Oh, that's right.
They were the 4th seed.
That's right. Yeah.
Boise State got the 3 seed.
Yeah.
And played the 6 seed Penn State.
Yeah.
And Texas was the 5 seed.
That's
My
crazy.
memory serves me correct.
Jordan Tyson didn't even play in that game, by the way, last year. He was hurt. So that's pretty nuts. All right. Well, the conference championship this weekend, a lot going on. I did want to play some of the audio from Kalani in the postgame. Here's what he said about Bear Bachmeier. This is a guy who he's watched all season long make absolute, dominant plays, but also be very, very young looking at the same time. And this is what he said about his performance on Saturday.
He made some true freshman mistakes, but I think he's pretty accurate, and there's a couple times, it's kind of hard when you want to tell him, correct him, but he already knows. So he's like, it's no fun when you're like, hey, you got to, I know, throw the ball away. It's like, all right.
I love it. You got to throw the ball away, man. But yeah, he goes 21 for 25. So one of the better performances of his entire career for 289. I think that's the third best throwing day yardage wise that he's had in the history of his young BYU career. I know you made that. You made that suggestion earlier, but do you really think Bear Bachmeier is a Big Ten quarterback?
Oh, 100%. Big, strong dude. Oh my gosh, he's got Big Ten all over him.
Listen, I know that we've said this before, but that coach at Portland State's head coach, he's dang freaking right about his legs, man.
He's a gosh dang centaur. There's no doubt about it.
So I'm in the press room. Kalani's finishing his comments. Bear comes in. He's got his game pants on, and he's got like his rib protector on, and like just a compression top, socks on, and he's as tall as I am with just his socks on. Okay. And I'm not kidding. I'm looking and I'm like, he is a big. I think those are the same pants they would have given me. Those are the same pants they would have given me. They said, hey, you got a little bit of a rounder tush here. How about these 2XLs? That work for you? And I swear that's what he was wearing. Big old centaur. God dang centaur. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. When we do, we've got our Jazz Daily coming up. Utah Jazz trying to show up the Rockets a little bit after getting blown out yesterday, hoping to maybe get this rare back-to-back Rockets for a second night in a row. You're going to get the tip-off right here on the KSL Sports Zone, starting at 6 o'clock, and then a 7 o'clock tip. And you've got yourself more to go right around the corner. Let's talk Jazz next, right here at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what's coming.
Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz.
It's time.
All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Hanson Scotty, by the way, on Wednesday for their Cougar preview show. That'd be a nice little Big 12 Championship preview show. Hanson Scotty, noon to 3 at Tim Daly Nissan Southtown this Wednesday. 11155 South Jordan Gateway in South Jordan. Tim Daly, home of the Forever Warranty. We're going to be at JCW's down at American Fork, by the way, tomorrow for our Big 12 championship. That's tomorrow, right? Yeah. Big 12 championship roundtable. So we got you covered, getting you ready for this one. The added twist of trying to figure out this coaching staff, what it's going to look like, and how they're going to prepare for this Texas Tech team. Yeah, they're not going to go away. Texas Tech is going to be right there, man. We'll see. They want to make a special run. The way they do it is through BYU, and obviously the Cougars are the same way. So, JJ, I got something for you here. The Utah Jazz, kind of tale of two different teams with almost the same. What are the Rockets? 13-6. The Jazz are 6-13, something along those lines. And this Rockets team is one of the best offensive teams in the entire.
Yeah, 13-4.
Oh, that's a good Rockets team. And they beat up on the Jazz.
They are currently third in the West.
Yeah, they beat up on the Jazz yesterday. They have Kevin Durant, of course. They have a couple of the oldest guys on the planet playing on their team, by the way.
Along with some really nice young players.
Yeah, and they're winning games, man, and they're scoring a lot of points. And yesterday was no different. What I noticed in this game yesterday was I was listening to a lot of it when I was in the car, and then I was watching some of it when I'd get home, and there was just this Jazz team from the get-go. A lot of times they've had decent first half, struggled in the third quarter. This was like from the get-go they were getting beat up. Because I think it was mid-second quarter, and it was 55-31, and I was like, oh, boy. They're already down 22, 23, a couple minutes into the game, and it was a little bit ugly from that sense. But in those types of games, what do you learn, JJ? I noticed that they were pretty happy to say, hey, let's do these last 10 minutes, just watch him and see what Ace Bailey can do, feed him the ball, see what he can do. Let's get him to grow up a little bit. Those are important minutes.
Yeah, there's a couple things here. That's one of them is – this team is continuing to develop. They have some young players that need to continue to develop. And Ace had a good game. I think it was a frustrating game for Keontae. I don't think he was at his best. He's having a great season.
He is, yeah.
But it also shows you the gap that currently exists. This is a team that you're eventually going to chase. And this is a team, the Rockets, that went through what you're going through right now. The Rockets stunk for a handful of years.
Yeah.
Kind of after that James Harden run and Chris Paul and those good Rockets teams that the previous Jazz roster competed hard against, the Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell era, those Rockets teams kept the Jazz from advancing. Once that era died down, they had to go through some rough years, and it all seems to be paying off now for this Rockets franchise, who was able to get Alperen Sengun in a trade, essentially drafted him. Amen Thompson was a draft pick. Jabari Smith Jr. was a draft pick. You start adding this kind of talent over time. Reed Shepherd, I'm going to throw him in there. He's emerged this year. He was a first-round pick. They've got 5 players averaging 13 or more points per game. Kevin Durant, Alperen Sengun, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., and Reed Shepherd. That's a good lineup. And I'm not even adding Steven Adams to the mix, who's a solid veteran in the middle. Tari Eason's a really good defender that plays on the wing.
Jeff Green's 1,000 years old.
Well, here's
kind of
the thing.
Same. By the way,
Clint Capella's on that roster too, by the way.
Yeah, and same time frame. Were they both on the Sonics at one point? Jeff Green and
I don't know if they were ever teammates. I'd have to look that up.
Look here. This is going to get McGraw here. Oh, look at this. 2007, 2008 Seattle.
Okay, they were on that. Was that the last Seattle
And they
team?
were both, yes. And then they were both on that OKC team for, Green was on that OKC team until they got traded in 11, 12.
So they obviously have a history.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my point is you draft high, you add that talent, and then you can go out and make a play for a guy like Kevin Durant to be that veteran presence. And all of a sudden, you've got a team that's contending. This Rockets team, with the talent they have with Kevin Durant, they're third in the West right now. This is a contender.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the steps that the Jazz have to take to go from where they're at right now to that point, you can look at the Rockets and think you have to have some patience. You have to go through some hard times, but it's not terribly far off. If the Jazz get one more lottery pick, it kind of puts them over the top. They've got money under the cap. That's why they didn't extend Walker Kessler. is to allow them to have that flexibility financially to potentially add a big name to this already really nice group of young players with Lowry Markkanen. And when Walker Kessler's healthy again, and if you can figure out how to keep Walker Kessler, and they'll still have to work that out. I imagine Walker Kessler's not thrilled with the way they've handled that situation. But you can also, you don't blame the Jazz for doing it the way they have, made perfect financial sense. You suddenly have something with the Jazz that you can work with that's going to allow them to move into the future and be a really, really good basketball team. So tonight's a chance, and last night was a chance, for Jazz fans to look at this Rockets team and think, this could be us 2 or 3 years down the road. You do this the right way. You do this rebuild the right way. You make the right decisions. Suddenly you're contending again pretty soon. And that's the goal for this Utah Jazz franchise. They're not going to do this forever. In fact, I think this is the last year this team misses the playoffs. I believe that.
Wow.
Because if you get that lottery pick next year and you add another key player through trade or whatever, you know you have Lowry, you know you have Keontae, you know you have Walker Kessler, you know you have that lottery pick, and you have Ace Bailey. Start winning games, and that's exactly what this Rockets franchise is doing right now.
I wonder too if there's a because I look at this Jazz team, and by the way, that would be an upgrade mentality wise. I think that we had as media guys covering this team, and fans hearing like, oh, it doesn't have to be another 4 more years of, 24 wins at most, and that's it. You
need some luck.
Yeah,
you got to hit on the right guys.
Yeah.
And Alperen Şengün is that luck for the Rockets.
Yeah,
that dude
that's a great point,
is a superstar.
And he was drafted where? I mean, what number was he? I mean, how did
he was the 16th pick of the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2021.
See,
and the dude is an all-star, and he's going to be for a long time. He's 6'11", 243.
And you're playing alongside Kevin Durant too, by the way, who's 6'11", 7 feet.
And Amen Thompson is a freak of all freaks. Legit. That dude is so athletic, and he's good on both ends. And Reed Shepherd is coming along nicely. That's a good roster. And nobody talks about Jabari Smith Jr.
Well, no one talks about the Rockets nearly like they do about. I mean, the Thunder are 20-1. The Thunder are.
That's why no one's talking about them.
And 1, and they're on pace now. They won the World Championship last year, and then this year they're 20-1. They're on pace to go. Checks notes 78-4. JJ 78-4.
Is this the greatest NBA team of all time?
Da 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 da.
What does Stephen A. Smith think?
Puts his cowboy hat on. The Cowboys suck. That's all I know. And at the end of the day, the Cowboys aren't going to win a championship for 2 more decades. I would take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go. Jazz tip-off, by the way, at 7 o'clock. That means a 6 o'clock pregame. That's top of the hour here. We're minutes away. So stay here. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone, getting you ready for Jazz Rockets, for Mammoth Sharks. All of it coming up right here in just a few minutes here. You're going to start off first at 6 o'clock with your Jazz pregame. And then a 7 o'clock Mammoth pregame. And then games all around, all the rest of the night. I was looking at the Jazz. We were talking about Jazz Daily, by the way. Worst third quarter team in the entire league. It feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you're watching games, you're like, hey, that was a nice little first half from them. And last night, they couldn't afford to have a bad third quarter, and they did. They had a bad third quarter. Scored 20 points in the third quarter, which they were already down, 18, 19 at the half, and they go down they go down by 30, basically, right before the end of that. So,
yeah, it was a tough night for Lowry and Keontae.
I don't know why. Oh, Keontae had, I don't even think he had a point, did he? 19 minutes, 0 points for Keontae George.
Weird.
That was a funky stat line right there. But 19 points for young Ace Bailey. So there you go.
He only played 19 minutes. The whole thing. He
I
was
think
minus
they shut her
27.
down.
Just a weird night. Like
Struggling.
Keontae's been amazing, and all of a sudden,
Right.
for that game, his body language. It was like old Keontae for one night. I'm sure it's just a one-time thing. I'm going to be very curious to see how Keontae responds tonight after that game.
Yeah. And that would be an interesting one because obviously he's had such a good year so far.
Oh, man.
He's got to be averaging – what's he averaging points-wise? He's got to be averaging 22, 24 a game. I mean
22 and a half. He's
yeah.
25th in the league. Top 25 in the league.
And what's Lowry, 27 and a half?
Yeah, he's come down a little bit from that 30-point average, but he's still up there.
Yeah.
27.9 is 12th in the league.
Man. Yeah, those are two phenomenal years for those guys. So that's an ahead of schedule ahead of schedule type situation then, because I don't think any of us saw Keontae George having the step up that he did. And a year where you don't have Walker Kessler for the rest of the season, not a bad time to be able to break out there and to be able to kind of show the rest of Jazz Nation where you're at. Mammoth Sharks, they need this one. They've lost 2 in a row.
I just don't see it. This
Game
team
time,
is really struggling.
Game time decision for young Logan Cooley, who I think when the injury happened, I thought to myself, that's a torn ACL. He's gone. I had those negative feelings as soon as it happened. So
good news, it wasn't that serious.
I mean, the NHL is a parity league, and it is really good hockey across the board. They could show up in San Jose, and they could stand up the Sharks, and I think they need it. So if they're going to do it tonight, be nice to have them get that one back and to get back on track with the winning ways and get a couple points there in San Jose. All right, for Jeremiah Jensen, I'm Alex Kirry. We will be back again tomorrow on the program. So this is all brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith brand of dealerships. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.